Kind of a different video. I had some people say I should talk about RPGs more, and I was having a conversation with a friend recently, and we were discussing the balance in RPG games versus fighting games. And honestly, this is just going to be a rambly video, so turn off the video right now, because I couldn't really think of a galaxy brain way to come up of this, comparing like a fighting game to an RPG in terms of balance, because of course a fighting game is actually competitive between two people, and when you're thinking about an RPG in terms of being competitive, maybe it might be like a speed run or something like that. So it's already getting kind of sketchy in terms of what is balance in an RPG in the first place. But I guess maybe it's interesting, and you can leave what RPGs you think were terribly unbalanced or what RPGs were well done, I guess. But I think RPGs in general, thinking about it in a casual level, not trying to like totally decimate the game. I think RPGs have gotten generally pretty good over the years in terms of balance, in terms of what is broken and what isn't, I guess, generally speaking, because I feel like the really unbalanced RPGs are kind of the rarity, actually. And this is, again, we're thinking about like at a casual level, not a speed running level. Because look at a game, say, we'll go back, say, as far back as, let's say, Final Fantasy VIII, right? Of course, something at a casual level, Holy War is broken, junctioning is a very obvious thing you do in the game. You can break a game like Final Fantasy VIII on a casual level very easily, right? The end, right? I know the end works on Omega Weapon and Ultimate Weapon. Does the end work on the final boss? I don't remember, but anyway, point is, Final Fantasy VIII, you can break that game on a pretty easily casual level, I'd say. You look at a game like Final Fantasy X. Is Final Fantasy X the most popular RPG of all time? It might be, right? Final Fantasy X, casual level, the game, you can blow through the whole game. Once you get like Hastega, and is it quick hit or double hit? I forget what they call it in the game. I don't know if it works in the international version of the game. I don't know anything about that, but once you get Hastega and quick hit, you blow through the entire game. You can't lose, right? Doesn't even matter if you're versing all the secret bosses in the game. It's like literally impossible to lose in Final Fantasy X on a casual level once you get that, right? Final Fantasy X-2, again, very easily, casually destroyable game with Happy Trigger and Catnip, whatever it is. But after that, you think games, I feel like they've gotten pretty good. Even a game like Star Ocean 3, you think Star Ocean 3 is broken on so many levels, right? But maybe Star Ocean 3 is a good example of kind of like balance in the chaos or whatever, because there's just so many moves in that game that are just broken at every single like level. Like when you first start playing the game casually, maybe you can like sidekick is really broken. But this, you get another character, man, like Nell, you get to like level 30 or whatever the fuck it is, she has the boomerang bullshit. Once you get secret moves, you know what I mean? A lot of the secret moves are broken. Laser beams, whatever the fuck it is. The game is actually a pretty good example of, I would say, being broken at every level, but not destroying it doesn't destroy actually playing the game. Does that make sense? I mean, I've never played that game, in a speedrunning level, but man, I've watched some Japanese guys speedrun the game, and man, he made the game look extremely broken, okay? But he was playing the game on a level that I would not say is casual, right? But Star Ocean 3 is a great broken game on a casual level that is casually broken throughout the game while you're playing it, and it's got a good balance in the chaos, right? I don't remember, I think about Persona 3, 4, and 5. Honestly, the only broken, Persona really isn't a game that, I feel like Persona games are kind of strategic, if you will. Like, it's such kind of a set in stone, this thing is good versus this thing is good for this, blah, 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 blah. The only move that really sticks out to me when I was playing the Persona games is, and I don't even remember if it works like this in 5, because I was, I didn't really care about 5, right? But I really like 4 a lot, and I thought 3 was good. But I remember playing 4, and once you get that fucking pizza slicer, the 8-hit move with the fucking samurai guy, dude, that just absolutely fucking destroys the game unless the guy has like a physical counter on, right? Like, it doesn't matter who you're versing, the game is just destroyed with that guy. I don't know if that guy is that good in other versions of. I don't remember having him in Persona 3 for some reason, and I don't remember if he's that good in Persona 5, but man, Persona 4, that thing just fucking wrecks the game on a casual level. And God, I don't remember anything being terribly broken on a casual level in games like Kingdom Hearts 2 or 3. I don't just kind of play them. I don't remember feeling like anything was terribly broken. And, I talked about this before as well. I don't think Final Fantasy VII Remake was a good RPG. I think it was a good action game, right? I tried to make that distinction when I talked about that game. Because I don't think the game, in terms of being an RPG, is very immersive or makes you feel immersed in the world or caring about the characters if you aren't already inclined to care about them. So I think the game is a failure in that aspect. But one thing I have said about the game, and again, we're talking about casual level here. So I know when we compare something to a fighting game, from a certain perspective, what is broken in a fighting game probably only matters, when we're talking about what is good in a fighting game. Generally speaking, you should probably only give, precedence and credence, whatever the fuck it is. The English, my English is terrible. You should probably only really give weight of the argument if we're talking about the game at a high level, right? You know what I mean? Otherwise, what is good and what isn't doesn't really matter. So I know this kind of conversation in comparison is strange because I'm making a comparison of RPGs on a more casual level. But, one thing that Final Fantasy VII Remake does do really well is, in terms of being a RPG, in terms of being a team when you're actually fighting in that game, I do think, I think Final Fantasy VII Remake has potentially the best collection of boss battles ever in a fighting game. And I do think, in terms of your characters all feeling like they have a specific purpose, you got a tank character, you got a long range character, you got the beat 'em up guy, you got the magic person, whatever. I do think Final Fantasy VII really succeeds in terms of the game feeling like you're part of a team, you're part of a RPG, if you will, when you fight, right? So again, making you care about the characters in the game, I think they do a terrible job of. Doesn't feel like an RPG. Game is a failure in that aspect, but there are certain aspects of the game that I think they do really well. And I do think the fighting, although it's not like my favorite fighting system ever, to give credit where credit is due, I think in terms of making each character feel special in their own unique way, I think it does a great job. I think the boss battles are potentially the best collection of boss battles ever in a game. So again, not my favorite RPG, and I use that usually, whatsoever. Not my favorite fighting system whatsoever. But what it is, I think it does amazingly well, right? And I don't think any one thing felt broken on a casual level. So anyway, those are just some RPGs I was thinking about. And I was just thinking, you know what? I feel like in terms of games actually being broken RPG-wise on a casual level, they do a pretty good job, right? You know what I mean? I feel like you're kind of thinking like, this game is really broken, this game is really broken. But in general, games, and as they have even gone on, they've done a pretty good job in terms of nothing feels, again, broken that, boom, you automatically win like some games. Like, again, Final Fantasy X is such a clear example of a game where, boom, you wreck everybody. Final Fantasy X2, boom, you get an item, you just wreck everybody, just destroys the game, right? Even a game like Final Fantasy 12, I don't remember anything really feeling broken in Final Fantasy 12. Final Fantasy 15, eventually they patched it so the magic ring can technically kill everybody. But even before that, I should say, I don't think anything felt, the game is totally broken, it's unplayable, right? So even Final Fantasy 15 did well, right? So again, before they patched it to make the magic better. But anyway, yeah. Kind of a rambly video, but some people wanted me to talk about RPGs, so there you go. And you can leave it in the comment if you thought one RPG in particular was well done, one RPG was terribly broken. Put it in the comments. I might not respond, but I do read the comments even if I don't respond. The end.